I looked at my wife like I did something right. Look, I'm not switching my price. Baby, I know what I'm worth. I be like, they got it Monday. I get to get back to work.
What is going on, guys? This is the Empowered People Podcast, where you know what we want to do. We want to tell, share, and listen to stories that are meant to motivate us to action, to motivate us to movement. We believe so much success, opportunity, education only comes when you're willing to get up and move. Gosh dang, dude. I haven't said that in 4 months. And like immediately remembered it, dude, because it's about stories. It's not just about freaking telling people advice. Even though advice comes, that story is powerful. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you did, people forget what you say, but they won't forget how you make them feel. And so when I hear that, I go, man, I just hope when people listen to this podcast, number one, they're inspired, educated, entertained. I hope that they go, man, if this idiot can get there, so can I. Or it's worth trying to see if you can. So yeah, man, it's fun to be back. It's fun to have you in the freaking seat, baby. Yeah.
That's my introduction. That's Matt Parman. What's going on? Dude, no, it's great to be here. I'm kind of worrying if I'm breathing in the mic too hard, but we'll figure that out.
The beautiful beard is filtering. You know how they put those like fluffy things on the microphone?
Yeah, the beard.
Your beard is one of those fluffy things.
Dude, you know, beard people are warriors is what I read. So, you know, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but it is good to be back. We got, you know, some new faces, some new things going on, and I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah, and we it's crazy to think we've had 300 plus episodes, whether it's been Tuesday tune-ups, it's been conversations, it's been interviews, it's been all of the above. And I got hit up. So, I mean, on the Tuesday tune-up, I dropped the reason that I had to take a step back. I was feeling that I had to talk about things that I had no business talking about. I was feeling an urge. I felt like Anakin Skywalker just getting pulled to the dark side, you know, and I'm like,
lightsaber some little Jedis, dude.
Bro, I was getting, yes, exactly, dude. I'm like wanting to go off on people that are just asking questions. And I'm like, I've seen the end of the movie. Yeah. It's not good. Yeah. You know, I don't care whether somebody has the higher ground or not. I don't want to be freaking arm and legless.
Right.
And so I had to step back. And so people, though, will be hitting me up. It's funny that I stepped away from the podcast and Instagram. So the only people that are like following us on the podcast and Instagram are messaging me on Instagram, and they're getting ghosted there. So I apologize for that. But I want to call you out and say, dude, where was the podcast? I blame you. Why would I blame me? For them not posting.
Podcasts not being posted.
What if you would have just posted the music intro to an outro fade? There's no word.
I've done that, dude. I did that for Kylie and Soren's first episode, remember?
I don't remember, but that is amazing.
I remember. Yeah, I forgot the words of the podcast. So it's more like a soundtrack. But it's whatever, you know? I mean, that's why I'm sitting here.
Dude, learning by doing. That's what there's a propaganda. He's like a Christian rapper, hip hop artist, into coffee. Awesome guy, awesome follow. But he says, learning by doing. What a novel idea, huh? He's like, how'd you learn how to do the dishes? Your mama pulled a chair up to the sink and said, watch me do these dishes. Now you do them. Yeah. And so, yeah, are there any things else that you remember that you like screwed up or you're like,
dude, so much stuff, specifically people's names. You know, when we're doing interview for the podcast, I would just feel so bad because I'd either
Connor Hazelrad.
I spelled her name wrong.
I think twice.
No, it was once, but it was completely the wrong name. And Connor, I'm so sorry. It wasn't even like that. And then Isaac's name, and then just like a couple other different things. I think I put 2 S's and 2 A's, and I'm like, yo, dude, you know, I really do apologize because I don't mean to be offensive. Editing has just proven to be one of those things for me that require a lot of attention, and sometimes the I's get dotted and the T's don't get crossed, you know?
Well, I've super appreciated it, and I'm proud of you. You did make massive steps, and we all make mistakes, and I've thought about starting to post on Instagram. So when I post on Instagram, it's like,
you post, I feel like Pandora's box, the floodgates open and you're back, baby.
Definitely trying to post a lot, and I do want to talk about my strategy on both Empowered Electric and Josh Levin's, you know, thing with the Empowered People, but one of the things I was thinking is I usually post literally like people that are like, I sit down at the start of the month and I plan out everything and organize it with time and captions and hashtags and stuff. Do you think I do that, Matt? You worked side by side with me for 5 years. Do you think I'm that planned and thought out?
I think you just know when I start, I'm just going to go hard. And then when I'm done, I'm not going to do it for a while. And then I'm going to come up with another plan and go hard again.
Well, I just mean like when I post, it's usually like when I'm running hills. So I have a huge hill in front of my house. So I'll sprint up the hill and then I'll walk down it. Usually when I'm posting are the walks down the hill.
Yeah.
So like the post will take like 5 runs, like I'll run up, I'll find the picture. I'll run up. I'll start to think of the caption. I'll run up, I'll add more of the caption. I'll run up. Like every walk down, I'm like doing more things. My fingers are sweaty. They're cold. I'm wearing those amazing Target gloves that you make fun of that cost $2.99 that are gray cotton.
Those aren't from Target, dude. Those are from like handed down from generation to generation. Those Kmart knitted little like 5 cent a finger.
Dude, he straight up said to me, those gloves are bull crap. I said, why? He said, grab one snowball and tell me they're not crap. And it's like, horrible. Yeah, they're soaking wet right when I pick something up. But I'm just saying when I get done and I post, and it'll be like educational, motivational, inspirational. It's a good picture. It's a good caption. It's a good reel. And people will be like, you missed a comma. You spelled entrepreneur wrong. I'm like, bro, I'm like voice texting out of breath while I'm posting this. I'm thinking about doing like #1 post, which means after I post it, I am never going to edit the caption ever. Like if I spell a name wrong, a word wrong, because like that's not the point. And I feel like if you have listened to this podcast and you're going, what should we expect moving forward? If you're thinking about a massively produced, flawless, perfectly filtered, edited podcast, this ain't it for you. We're going to make mistakes. How do we know? 300 plus episodes have proven.
Yo, those are tougher than Leonidas, though. That's all I got to say.
What do you mean? What?
Those podcasts are tough, dude.
I do enjoy them.
Yeah,
I do
strong.
enjoy them. There are a handful that I did not enjoy, just being completely honest.
I mean,
what? Go ahead.
Like every day, every day can't be the best day. It doesn't mean it's not good.
Well, I think it was the reason is just kind of talking about the past and the future. One thing I noticed is this isn't a business podcast, and this isn't necessarily a construction podcast. When I think about, and I've said it over and over and over again, everything I know about being a great entrepreneur, I learned being a great employee. And I think the way that I was a great employee is I became a great person. And I know you're going to be like, yo, dude, you're calling yourself great? Yeah. I'm not saying like I can't be better. I'm just saying like breaking the cycles of poverty, addiction, and self-defeat, giving a crap about people. I didn't start Empowered Electric and start caring more about people and less about profit. I cared more about people and less about profit when I was doing the crap work as a first-year apprentice with a smile on my face. I did it while I was in Hy-Vee, at Hy-Vee in the kitchen, and I realized that, hey, I could get more opportunity if I said I wanted to cook breakfast. So like all my college buddies, right? They want to work the night shift. They don't want to get up at 5 a.m. and cook breakfast. So what do? I get up at 5 a.m. and cook breakfast. Was it more money? No. Was it a worse time? Yes. Like the amount of times I showed up late for, freaking hash browns, gotta wait, bro. Hash browns take a long time to cook. Okay. And when you're 30 minutes late and people start ordering hash browns, Can I substitute your hash browns for pancakes, please, so I don't get yelled at?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, everything I know goes back to that. And so this really is like, as we interview people going forward in the future, yeah, we might talk about your business, but I want to talk about your life. I want to talk about what motivates you. I want to talk about what you overcame. I want to talk about what is the vision of getting there, like of being successful, of achieving things, because I think that resonates whether you're a business owner, whether you're a stay-at-home, I was going to say mom, but like stay-at-home dad also, or whatever. Like, dude, I saw a thing that was like, yo, if your wife made $15 million, would you be a stay-at-home dad? And it was like a black dude like dancing while he was vacuuming, like just awesome. And like, I can't dance like that, but I would be vacuuming like that, guaranteed. Yeah. And it's like, I just wanted to be able to relate to a lot of people that like, I want you to see you.
15 million?
Bro.
I'm getting them made, sorry. I'll do other stuff at home, but I'm getting them made.
That's true. That's probably true.
I've seen maids gotten for way less.
Way less.
Yeah.
Way less. But Yeah, but I would have no problem playing the background and helping somebody else succeed. And I hope as you listen to the podcast and as we continue to find guests that maybe some will be business owners, some will be professionals, some will be just like creative people that like maybe outwardly speaking, they don't have a lot of notoriety or success, but we want to know about like where they find that passion, where they find that fuel, that kind of stuff. Because like, I can just think about some conversations where I'm like, it just felt so disingenuous and forced. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to go down that path. And if that means that we have 4 interviews in a month that drop on Thursdays, or we have no interviews, I want to make a commitment that I'm not going to talk to somebody that I don't think is inspirational, educational, entertaining, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that, when you're first figuring something out, you just kind of got to do a ton of whatever and figure out what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't work, what people respond to positively and negatively, and really focus on which, what is negative. If it's a comma, then maybe, you're not too focused on that and they're just focused on the wrong thing. And yeah.
Well, can I ask you a question and you can give me your honest opinion on this? So there was 2 negative things that kind of pushed me over the edge. And honestly, it was literally like, I'm about to cut Mace Windu's arm off. Going back to the Anakin Star Wars analogy. But we got that sponsorship for Manscaped, which you got some free Manscaped stuff. I got some free Manscaped stuff. Like there was, $50 off their first purchase, all that kind of stuff, Mm-hmm. And I posted about that because like I've always viewed sponsors as like shout outs. Like I want to talk about, so dude, I've sold so many nickel and suede earrings because I talked about them all the time. I've put so many people in the doors of Thou Mayest in the River Market because I love Bo. I've pushed so many people to countless things I believe in, right? Like when I believe in something, I want to talk about it. I freaking love it, right?
Yeah.
And so Manscaped, dude, I used Manscaped for the last 5 years, like ever since it came out and I heard about it on a podcast. I was like, these are great. And so we get that sponsorship and I kind of post about it and literally, dude, the hate messages like, oh, are we just going to sell out? Oh, are we just going to post about this? How much money are they giving you to say this? Da, 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 da. And it's like, number one, not very much. Okay. Like not very much at all. It wasn't about the money.
Number 2, not your business.
And like,
why? Podcast is free. Go 15 seconds ahead. I don't care about what you think about Manscaped. That's it. That's my answer.
Yeah. But it bothered me, dude. Like it got under my skin.
I'm sorry.
And I'm
at
like,
least it was your smooth skin.
It was smooth skin, dude.
Manscaped.
Bro, they came
50%
out.
50%
off. I bet the coupon code EEKC still works. But and I guess part of it was like, I want people to realize I'm going to talk about this stuff I believe in. So even like people were like, dude, why are you talking about this electric company, Border States Electric Supply House, right? It's like, dude, we are their largest purchaser in Kansas City, which like honestly makes my heart almost explode to know that like, I mean, sorry, dude. Like, you can call it imposter syndrome, you can call it whatever, but I'm like, I am a joke. Like, I just said that I was successful. I'm also like, yo, dude, I'm a poor kid that can't spell entrepreneur or electrician. I got so many failures and flaws, and you're telling me that a company that I started in 2015 is now the biggest purchaser of electrical stuff from Border States? What the heck? And maybe it's not first this year, maybe it's top 3, but like, I'm way up. We are way up there. That makes me proud, and I love their service, and so I want to talk about them. And if you are a construction worker, if you are an electrician or any kind of role at an electric company, I do want you to give them the shot. They helped us grow. We would not be here without them. But people are like, this is pointless. I don't care about this. And like part of me, I just can't say like, well, then skip forward. I wish I could, but I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Dude, I can do that.
Bro, if I put you in charge of the comments.
No, dude, here's the thing. I love our listeners, and a podcast is almost non-existent without its listeners to a certain degree. And so I respect and love that, and I love feedback. Be mindful of what you're saying. And like, dude, if you follow Josh at all, Josh, and you know all this stuff already. You've said it a million times. And yeah, I wish you would have shared those things with me before. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
I know it's so wimpy. And it's not at all that I'm going, it's not even at all that I don't see where they're coming from. Cause sometimes like you listen to a podcast and it's 15 minutes of ads or whatever. But I'm like, at the same time too, it's like, we're doing this usually nights and weekends. We're usually doing this like after hours as a passion project to try to help people. And it's like, how many times have you stayed late and done a podcast and, my wife is like, yo, where are you? And you got to like stop at Hawaiian Bros or the Rock Hill Grill to get a salad on the way.
Yeah.
To say
just
you're sorry.
Really nailing that on the head. We kind of talked about what our dislikes and likes were for those first 300 episodes. And just to bring that up exactly, I edited a podcast on my wedding night.
Dude.
And if I could have changed anything, I would never have done that because I have to live with that from my wife. And that's part of it, So like when I hear people not wanting to hear how Border States has helped us and we want to give them a shout out, or how you want to help people have better hygiene through Manscaped and just have fun with the things that we're doing. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't have the space for that.
Yeah.
I'll just find more listeners.
Yeah.
100%.
Sorry. Yeah. No, it's so good. Not so good, but just so real.
Just real and raw. And that's what you're going to get in the future. So tune in or tune out. But either way, like, it's going to be good and we're going to do this. So
yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that, I've loved about you and working so close to you for 5 years. It's like, you are who you are. It's all the good. It's all the bad. It's all the real. When people are like, well, what did he mean by that? It's like, Matt means exactly what Matt says. Like, there's no
hungry.
What's the like passive aggressive? It's like, that doesn't exist with Matt. Like, dude, one time we were at the pool together. I always say it because it was like such a good dad move. But like Matt, like, shows up at the pool. He's got 2 little girls. Like, they probably don't even know how to pull the trigger on a water gun yet. He's got like 12 water guns, balloons, all this stuff. Like, he comes in, he's got the wingspan of like a U-Haul. So he's just carrying all this stuff in, right? And he's letting every kid in the pool play with the water guns. And these 2 kids start picking on this like little chubby kid. And like, you could just tell what was happening. And literally Matt, no care in the world, doesn't care who their parents. He's like, hey, you, we're done. Give the guns back, and just takes the guns. And he's like, we know what was happening there. That ain't flying. And I was like, dude, that's so good. And like, maybe it hurt the kid's feelings, but like, so what? They were hurting that kid's feelings.
Yeah. And I wish I could say I was a bullied child and I know what it feels like, but I think I might have done a little bit of bullying on that side, and I'm just not about that. And, and so, yeah, but I appreciate that. But yeah, just moving forward, back when we first started this podcast, like, we're trying to, me being me, I'm not an estimator. I'm not an editor. I'm just kind of here, right? And that's what we kind of always said was, show up, figure it out. I got your back. And so, yeah, we did that. And it's like a podcast about giving advice. And I'm like, yo, I don't know anything, so I can't really give any expert advice. But now I think, I do, thanks to you, and there's a lot that goes into that. It's a different episode, but like, I'm here now and I'm on the dance floor, and I do have this experience to talk about that I would love to share with people, as long as you'll have me. You know?
No, absolutely.
And so that's where this is going. You're starting this coaching stuff, and like, I'm a stub story to all the stuff that you're saying. I think that the way to really master your craft is like, the final part of it is replication. And like, look at me. Like, you've helped me spiritually. You've helped me with my work. You've helped me with my family. You've helped me with my friendships. You've helped me with everything.
I feel like I've got you to get rid of friends so that you would just be my friend. It's like an actual selfish, like the Wicked Witch is like, ha, you're mine.
Well, dude, if that's how good you are at manipulation, then I'm ready to be manipulated. But no, dude, it's all good. And so I guess what I want to say and get out is you are what you say you are, and you can do what you say that you can do. And I mean, you look at Steph, you look at all the people that are flourishing because of what you're doing. And it's pretty easy for me to just say, yeah, no, we're going to do that. And no, I'm not going to question this. And anybody that has anything to say is just kind of silly. But also, I think it's important to understand that most people make fun of things that they don't understand, and you have to be okay with that. I do it. We do it. We do it together.
Yeah.
And it just, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Or it's like you want to make fun of something because you want to explain why you're not there. And it's like, it takes time. That's one of the things, like, us working out together with consistency. It's like, dude, it takes way more time than you realize. Like,
yeah, dude.
I mean, it's way more time. And it's like, but you will learn to enjoy the journey. You will see progress. I've had to start telling myself, because I'm trying to like lose body fat percentage, and I'm like, you'd say, man, I look fat, like I still am looking fat, and I had to realize, like, yeah, I might still look a little chubby in some areas, but also look strong. And I also have to be aware of those things that are going right. And it's like, you can't pretend like there aren't inefficiencies that we can get better at and that we can do different. Like, even just you saying, like, editing a podcast on your wedding night, it's like, oh my gosh, it's almost like a dagger in my heart. Like, that toxic work culture of push, push, push. And like, dude, sometimes there's no NFL game where you leave without bumps and bruises and some injuries and going, crap, I threw to the wrong receiver and he got blown up across the middle. Like, crap, that's on me. And so, that does hurt my heart, but it's like, be cognizant of it and change, and don't let it happen again. Don't make sure he doesn't edit a podcast
on his second wedding night, dude.
On his friggin' anniversary, or kid's birthday or anything like that. But like, if you think that you're going to agree with everything I say on this podcast, it's also not going to be the case. Or you're not going to talk to somebody or we're not going to have a guest and we're not going to talk about something where you agree 100%. I don't think you have to agree, but I think you have to listen. You have to question. You have to try. And that's the thing too, is like, you were willing to show up and try, and that there is power in showing up. Like, people like talk about the power of a dad and like how bad it is for dads to be absent. I think as a dad, there's the 3 Ps. You've got to provide, you've got to protect, you got to be present, right? Like, what's the 4th?
I'd say 4.
Well, you were kind of wiggle jiggling the 4th finger. I thought maybe you had another one.
Nope.
But like me, what I was realizing, is I loved to provide. I was pretty good at protecting, but being present, it's like, yo, dude, like, you're going to go to the store, take your kid with you. Hey, you're going to jump in the ice bath, have your kids do it with you. Hey, you're going to do this, do that with them. Like, learn to like bring people along with you. And like with you made it real easy to do that. This isn't like a love session, a bromance between me and Matt, but it's like
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is coming up. Do not forget, buy some flowers, buy some chocolates, buy some gifts.
Or end up like Bruno Mars, baby.
Here's a real question, and I don't want to go into details. This is a real question to help the male listeners, or maybe female, I don't know, whatever. Is it appropriate to buy your special someone something sexy on Valentine's Day?
Chocolates are sexy, dude.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something to wear. Is it appropriate to buy someone else something sexy to wear on Valentine's Day? This is real helpful stuff for people.
Okay, so I suppose if I was going to do that, it wouldn't be a gift that I'd be giving in public.
Well, yeah, definitely not in public, dude. Whenever we got married and the day after you like open all the freaking presents, dude, my wife's family are so awkward and bought some of the stupidest gifts
on purpose
to like open in front of people. And it was like, man. Dude, I'm not talking about that. But like, the reason I say this is it's like, are you buying a gift for you at that point, or is it for them?
If it's like buying a can opener for Christmas type deal. Yeah, no, dude. I think the safe bet is to get the sexy outfit and the thoughtful gift.
There we go.
Added bonus is the outfit, and it's most likely going to get used quicker if the gift is thoughtful and the day is great.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That is the appropriate answer. If you only buy the sexy gift, you might get slapped in the face.
Yeah.
So back to a serious note. So yeah, that's where we've been. All in all, I'm so thankful to start the podcast. I'm so thankful that we did it. Like I said, there was just me having to grow up and deal with some negativity.
You said there was a second thing. I feel like we didn't hit on it.
Dude, I'm nervous to share it.
Just share it.
So,
Sharon.
You remember Amber and Jasmine, Sis Studios, Stellar Image Studios.
So I remember them very well. Yeah.
Dude, they're sisters that started a company. They had awesome things to share. One's really creative. One's really business mind. I think they're up to, I'd have to double check on their Instagram, but they're up to like 5 or 6 employees. Like they're doing well in business, and they're just like fun, creative people.
So I do want to say the way that they spoke about their dad, I told you this after the interview. I was like, man, if my daughters talked about me that way, like I was getting teary-eyed, dude. And I was just like, man, it'd be great if my daughters could grow up to be just like these two. That would be awesome. And like the way they were talking about their dad, I was just like, that's the dad I want to be.
Yeah.
You know,
that 100%. And like, that's what you want to hear is like stuff like that, right? Like I enjoyed that conversation. And I remember somebody was like, oh, so you're just going to have pretty blondes on the podcast? Literally that got said to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so you just want to have pretty blondes on the podcast? And I was like, number one, like, okay, they're pretty girls, whatever. They're blonde. Okay. Good observation. Did you not listen to anything they said? Did you not listen to the conversation we had? Are you just projecting your insecurities on them? Like, and now I'm the bad guy? Because it's like one of the things, the biggest thing that when people say like, hey, I want to be on the podcast, which I do want to open it up. I'm going to start sharing. Like I was in a part of Centurions that has 120 really amazing people that are in Kansas City that we could sit down in person with. I have a lot of connections through Steph and Vaughn and a lot of people where it's like, hey, I might take some big swings at some big names. Theo Vaughn, Chris D'Elia, you're on the list. You've been served your notice.
Man, dude.
Theo Vaughn,
So
Chris
funny.
D'Elia would be so hilarious. Cool. We've got a connection through somebody. I won't name their name, but we have a mutual connection where it's like, yo, dude, what's up? Like, but so like, you know, having these interesting people on, well, one of the things I'm going to say is like, sometimes people are like, hey, I want to be on the podcast. I'm like, cool. What do you want to talk about? And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, well, then you can't be on the podcast. Like, because one of the most important things about a podcast that is audio only on iTunes and Spotify, of course, now it's video on YouTube, but regardless, it's gotta be entertaining.
Yeah.
You can't just say yes, no, I don't know. You can't do that. You can't say, I need 5 minutes to think about my thoughts. You gotta talk or it's not entertaining. No one's going to listen. You're like, please rate and subscribe and review the podcast.
Well, you know, I do. First of all, it is flattering that people want to be on the podcast, regardless of whatever it is. I think that that's awesome that people do want to be on. But it's not always the best fit at the right time. And I think that if you're in entrepreneurship or if you want to be a good student, you need to learn to not take things personal. And that's super hard, dude. I mean, it's easy to say, right? But, you know, I don't think you chose anybody based off their looks on a podcast, because you don't, I mean, now we see them, but yeah, it's voice. So, that's unfortunate that somebody said that to you and wanted to be on the podcast. But at the end of the day, you just have to have that hard conversation and say, I don't think, unless you have something good to say, like, I don't know if it's going to work out. And having to, because what's the alternative?
It's so hard for me.
The alternative is we just went 0 dark 30 for, you know, however months, according to, you know, these are the reasons. So it's like, man, that's just not cool.
Anyways, whenever I get negative feedback from now on, I'm going to come to you. We're going to get a game plan on how to handle it. Because I still just, I bought that book. I had mentioned my wife bought a book called Critical Conversations. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to learn how to have tough conversations. Because I literally, you know, somebody says that to me and I'm like, deuces. Like, I could never talk to you ever again and just move on. Which that's not necessarily fair, because maybe they were joking. Maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe that's how they felt. But it's like, that's just not the case. I want to talk to interesting people that I think are going to be educational, inspirational, or entertaining, hopefully all three, and move forward. And I do not want to go 0 dark 30 ever again. I do want you to watch that movie 0 dark 30. It is creative. It is good. But yeah, that's what people can expect. I think we could wrap this up, but we need to wrap it up with Super Bowl prediction. Super Bowl this Sunday, Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles. It is not the Kelsey Bowl. Dude, 200,000 people signed the petition to try to get their mom to flip the coin.
Oh, really?
But they've already picked. It was like a military veteran.
Where are all these petitions at? I always see like petitions signed, and I'm like, I didn't ever see a petition for nothing.
I feel like the only petition I've ever signed is for weed. And like they told me after the fact, it's always that quick trip while I'm getting gas. They're like, hey, man, we want it legalized. I'm like, whatever. Like, just sign it. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Dude, well, it worked.
It worked.
Bro. Good job.
Yeah.
Like, as of yesterday,
I'm part of a winner.
Your signature.
Yeah. I don't have strong opinions for or against. I do have strong opinions about not getting bothered while I'm pumping gas. I hate getting gas. It's usually while I'm on empty and I coast it in.
I can't believe you still pump your own gas, dude. Wow.
Business owner. I know. I need to get people to go fill up my gas tank.
Number 3 in fastest growing businesses in America, and you're still pumping your own gas, according to Inc. magazine.
And making my own food like a chump.
Dude, you need to get a chef, isn't that?
Yeah.
Who has it?
Dude,
who's a personal chef?
Everybody has it. Everybody has it. But wrap it up. Super Bowl predictions. Who do you think? Who do you got? Chiefs.
A lot to a not, dude. It's gonna be a. Remember when Peyton like fumbled at the very beginning of the Super Bowl? Like they oversnapped it like right above his head. I think it was a Bronco. Even with that owl neck, dude. But they gave him an owl neck. But dude, a lot to a not. I'm a Chiefs fan, diehard fan. I saw a dude wearing an Eagles jersey in Price Chopper, and I'm just like, what are you doing? It's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing, all you Eagles fans in Kansas City? Go stay in like a motel together or something, dude. We don't want to see you. I'm serious, man. Prediction, we're going to win.
I massively hope we win. We'll do a podcast reaction after the fact. I do hope we win. It does seem like most Super Bowls are blowouts. Very, very few are like those close games. So it's like, man, I really hope. I just want to see the Chiefs get an early lead and keep the lead, not protect the lead. Like I remember we won state championship my senior year, and they won it again the next year, and the average spread was like 40-3, and it was because the coach was like, when you have the lead, and this is gruesome, but he's like, hey, when you have the lead, step on their throats. It wasn't like protect the lead. It wasn't like, play things safe, like run out the clock. He's like, when you're up 30 points, score again. And then guess what? Score again. And you're like, I just want to see that with the Chiefs. Like, don't play it safe. Please don't leave it in the foot of Harrison Butker at the very end.
Zion Wilson, or
Williamson.
Zion Williamson.
Smash it.
360 windmill dunk, up 50, dude. Let's go. Fourth quarter. That's what I want to see to end the game.
Guys, thanks a ton, guys and gals. Sorry, I will figure out how to remember that every time. Guys and gals, thanks a ton for tuning in this Thursday. Whether it's me and Maddie P chatting it up or it's a special guest where we're going to just chat with them also. We hope that this is inspirational, educational, and entertaining. Love you all. If you haven't already, rated, subscribed, to the rated, subscribed, reviewed.
Subscribe, run.
That,
fun,
honestly,
clicky.
I know it's at the very end, but it's like that would mean a lot because I do get negativity. I do get hate. The more I see those 5-star ratings and those reviews that are wrote out that are meaningful, it is cool. So whether it's on Spotify or iTunes or on the podcast on YouTube, The Empowered People at YouTube. Love you guys. Hope you have a great week. Go Chiefs.
Hey, shine like gold. They don't want story, man, they want the soundbite. I'm like, no, look around like they see you on the mountain, they don't see you on the climb. Right, me and all of mine in the power line. Look at this and what you find. Right.